Al Humphrey's been a member for 33 months. Says, hello, Nate, CC, and Tom. So do you think that bloke from that company might step in and possibly save Disney from itself, or is it doomed to slow atrophy? Great vocabulary there, Alma dude, which actually coincidentally takes us off to our second topic.
Well done.
Which is this, which I can't really run through, so I'm going to get Culture to talk us through it. This is, ladies and gents, is a previous interview with Nelson Peltz, which explains what he does as an activist investor. But also, what is perhaps most revealing about this is it reveals the steps that they do as a company, as a management company, this Trian Fund Management, when companies refuse them, which Disney clearly has done. There's a lot revealed in here. So take it away, Culture, because this is what Nelson Peltz is going to do.
And this is from our good friends at Bounding into Comics. So if you want to find this article, they've got it over there. Nelson Peltz explains his objectives and tactics when turning around faltering companies like the Walt Disney Company. John wrote this himself, so it must have been important. Investor Nelson Peltz, of the founding partner of Trian Management, explains his objectives and tactics when turning around companies. Peltz recently engaged in a proxy war with the Walt Disney Company and is reportedly looking to take over multiple seats of the company's board. In January this year, Trian Fund Management nominated Peltz for election to the Disney board, claiming the company's share price had declined to a near 8-year low. The company has materially underperformed the S&P 500 over 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and 10-year periods by 24, 60, 66, and 116% negative, respectively. The company also noted Disney's operating performance has deteriorated, including a 50% decline in earnings per share. I think those are diluted EPS, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, since fiscal year 2018, despite Parks' profitability surpassing historical levels. After citing the poor figures, Trian declared that Disney's current problems are primarily self-inflicted and need to be addressed, which is true. Scrolling on. From there, Trian laid out Peltz's election to the board would be allow him to craft an effective succession plan and align compensation with performance. He would improve direct consumer operating margins, which means cutting the dumb budgets, by the way.
And also maybe firing chief diversity officers.
Yeah, well, they just hired a new CDO. So there you are.
I know. I did a video on that.
Yeah, and okay, back to that. Eliminate redundant or excessive costs, which there are ample, and refocus the creative engine to drive profitable growth. Furthermore, Trian wants to enhance accountability on capital allocation and reinstate the dividend by fiscal year 2025. He actually wanted it by the end of this year. So in February, Trian would drop the proxy battle, noting in the press release, "We congratulate Disney and Bob Iger on their recently announced operating initiatives, which we are a win for all shareholders and broadly aligned with our thinking. We are pleased with the role that Trian was able to play in helping to focus the board to take decisive actions, which we believe will lead to better financial results. We were also pleased to see the company's pledge to restore the dividend. However, a new report from CNBC indicates Peltz is ready to reignite the proxy battle." It's already done. It's already engaged. Trian has increased his shares in Disney to more than 30 million, which in January, Trian noted that they only controlled 9.4 million. So they tripled up.
So go down. So the really interesting thing is this interview that comes up before. So here it is. Peltz spoke with Dave Rubenstein of Bloomberg Wealth back in June 2022, where he explained how he goes about fixing and repairing companies. Keep going.
Oh, sorry.
Scroll down. So he told Rubenstein, so this is what is happening with Disney. This is why this is such a great article. We're not an activist investor. What we see is what we see really companies that think were once great have lost their way, and that we have a plan for them to get back to greatness again. And that's what we do. Because an investor, ladies and gents, wants their money back. They want a return on their investment.
ROI.
We're not there to leverage up these companies. We're not there to split them up. We're not there to do all the terrible things that typically go along with the term activist. No, that's BlackRock and Vanguard. we're just trying to get these companies to operate better the way they used to, which is what we've been saying for many, many years. We don't hate Disney. We hate what they've become. So after Rubenstein lays out that Peltz buys up a bunch of public stock and companies, then notifies the CEO that he's a big shareholder, Peltz explains how the interactions with the CEOs can go. So imagine this with Bob Iger. Sometimes no one is thrilled that we're there. Some are much more receptive to hear what we've got to say. We put together a white paper to go over with management, and that white paper stays private as long as we're in conversation. And if we want a board seat when we think that they're ready to give us a board seat, it will always stay private. But if they refuse to, then we make that white paper public. So what do you think's happened between them and Disney the first time round?
I think they put themselves in a position to say, you know what, we're going to do everything you say except for a board seat, and then they didn't follow through on the majority of things. They did a bunch of layoffs. They lost 12,000 people, but they did not actually deliver any of the other deliverables.
Yeah. When asked if he could say how many times CEOs welcomed or rebuffed his advice, he stated, "I can't tell you, but I don't remember anybody ever saying the former, but not very often have they been as tough as you said on the latter. Clearly, they're not thrilled to see us. But what usually happens is that these stocks go up, which they did, and they go up nicely for the right reasons because sales have gone up. Market shares have gone up. Their stocks went up. Disney stocks went up because it was announced that Peltz was in the running again.
Yep.
Earnings clearly have gone up, and we tell them what we think they're doing wrong." Can you imagine Bob Iger? Bob Iger, the guy who left but didn't leave and wanted to keep his office because it had a shower in it. Bob Iger being told what he's doing wrong.
Captain Hubris.
Yeah. So this stuff's not that interesting. We'll scroll down a little bit further. So so here it is. So Peltz then recalled, "We gave them our structure. They rejected it. We had a proxy fight. This is what's happening now. We finally won our board seats, and the shareholders won."
I think
this is all just to do with.
He's revisiting what they did with Procter and Gamble, P&G.
Yeah. But it just goes into the ins and outs, so it's not that interesting, to be honest. No. So we have this one here. So Peltz explains what happens when he gets onto the board of directors. Well, first of all, we don't bring that to the boardroom. Our time, because he doesn't want to deal with the other members. He's not interested. Why? Because he comes in and goes, big dick swinging. We know what we're doing. Those people on the board don't know what they're doing. You listen to us. It's the ultimate power move. It's like, no. Your whole board is full of shit. You don't know what you're doing. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. You listen to me. You have meetings with me. And then you take this to the board and it gets approved. That's basically what he's saying.
Yeah.
So he goes, well, first of all, we don't bring that to the boardroom. Our time is spent with the CEO, the chairman, the CFO, and we share our plans with them outside the boardroom. We try never to solve an issue in a boardroom. It's always best done the day before, the week before, outside that room. We wouldn't be there if they really were doing well. So it's really hard for them to straight face and tell us we're doing well and we present them with a plan. Again, imagine him saying this to Bob Iger, because this has happened.
Yeah,
this is just a background on what they did with Heinz, which they've done really well. I mean, this is talking about 10-year highs with Heinz, massive amounts, 36 straight quarters of organic sales increases. No other consumer company can say that. He did that. His company did that. It is crazy. And then they have this. When asked if he would ever just provide advice without going on the board, Peltz responded, "We do that sometimes. It's not a matter of wanting to. It's a matter of how receptive management is to our suggestions." So again, remember, they've asked for a board seat because they've probably gone to Bob Iger and he's gone, nah, piss off. Ferguson is a company we bought a lot of stock in, never got on the board, never asked for a board seat. Really had a great relationship as we do today with management. No need for us to go on the board. See, they use the board seat because they need to. It's leverage.
Yeah,
that's that. Like they can buy up all the shares and then come to the CEO and go, "Look, here's our advice." If they go, "Yeah, okay," or they go, "No," then they go, "Right, okay, proxy fight. Then we must get on the board. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
we own X, Y, and Z amount of shares."
Yeah.
Crazy. Is there any more? I think was that it?
No, it's just questions.
That's it. So, guys, what do you think? Come on, tell me. Sock it to me now. I think that's gold. Comedy gold.
I think it's incredible because again, he's making our point, right? Those of us on the outside that have been talking about you guys are headed the wrong direction. You've been headed the wrong direction for a long time. The minute you shifted from being a family company to being, something that's owned by a narrative, you started to destroy everything from the top down, and they did. And all Nelson Peltz wants to do is restore the company. And this is something that I've been saying since he entered the conversation. I think it's interesting that he's now aligned himself pretty well with Ike Perlmutter and many other frustrated investors, because there's a handful of them, and there's still lawsuits that are in process right now for documents and records releases and things like that. So you have a very interesting time ahead of you. And if Nelson Peltz gets a board seat, we will know that it was done with a lot of ugliness. And I think that that's exactly what's going to happen, because he asked Iger for something. Iger didn't deliver it. Peltz was able to sweep in and buy up 3 times as many shares as he did before, and just increase his holding in the company. He got rich last time off of Disney. The last time he came in, bought up shares, Disney said they were going to do stuff. He sold. He saw an opportunity when the stock dropped below 80. He bought. So there you are.
Yeah. And that's the thing. They want a return on their investment. They're investing large sums of money into a company to grab up the shares. And they just want to steer it around, because you got to remember, they clearly think the company can do better in the future. They wouldn't spend so much money investing in it otherwise. Their ultimate goal is to turn the company around and sell their stock for more money than they paid for it, obviously. That's how they make their money.
Yep.
What do you think, Tom? What do you think, buddy? Come on.
I think it's kind of funny, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would have wanted to say that a lot of the stuff that we've talked about over the past couple of years has been bullshit. But this proves that we weren't full of shit. And at the end of the day, money talks and BS walks. I mean, as we've said before, sooner or later, the money people are going to go, where's my money? Right? Like, they're not going to sit there and take no dividends. They're not going to sit there and take the excuses. They're not going to sit there and take you going out there going, oh, everything's fine and dandy and we're doing great and we're performing above and beyond and blah, 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 blah. Yet you're not lining the pockets of those people who are your investors, right? At that point, those people are going to go, what the fuck's going on? And Nelson Peltz is one of those kind of people, and he's not going to F around when it comes to this stuff. He gave them ultimatum. They clearly didn't go with what they were supposed to do. They effed around, and now they're about to find out, I think, is what's going to happen here. I think this is also another reason why Bob Iger has kind of really had a shock to the system lately, it seems like. Because if you've seen him as of late, he seems haggard. He seems tired and beaten down. He has been getting a brunt of a lot of this strike business, which I'm sure also hasn't been weighing well on him and doesn't look good for him in the eyes with all the, of all the people that are involved with the situation. Because at the end of the day, I mean, Hollywood for the last 20, 30 years has gone the way that Disney goes, right? They tend to follow Disney with the wind. Whatever way Disney's going, they're going to follow them. And when you've got supposedly the most strongest person in Hollywood, or the most powerful person in Hollywood, in Bob Iger, cowering over this Nelson Peltz situation and all the other business that's going on at Disney, I mean, it's just really kind of ironic, sad for them, but there's a bit of schadenfreude, or whatever the word is, for us, because here we are just kicking back and going, yep, we told y'all so. This is what was going to happen. And I think it's funny.
Many times.
Yeah, and I think it's even speaks to something else broader. We're seeing a lot of corporations pull well out of the ESG stuff because it's had their companies performing so poorly, and it's so politically motivated that it's been punishing those companies. Activist investors have been getting involved in that and really hurting them. And not only that, I mean, you have BlackRock, changing their terms, still demanding the same thing, but kind of stepping away from the terminology of ESG and DEI, and which causes you to DIE. But anyway, those
companies die.
Yeah. But that's the whole point, right? And so you're watching that happen, and I think, like I said, Tom's right. I think not only have we been saying this is happening, this is going to happen. We've reached the end of that road. So you're watching a lot of people, get ready to pay the piper. And it speaks to something I don't think we're covering today, which is the fact that Netflix is going to offer data transparency, which I did a video on today.
Oh,
yeah.
good,
so you're going to start seeing more transparency from Netflix, which is putting all of the other streaming services on notice that,
you said that all of Hollywood follows Disney, but all of streaming follows Netflix.
Yeah.
So they'll have to do that as well.
Well, I think Sarandos put the fear of God into them with that. I if I were Disney right now, I'd be going, we cannot possibly let people know how poorly our shows are received.
No, not at all. I mean, the thing is with Netflix is they own the market. They own the market streaming. They are the market streaming, and they sort of boot people off left, right, and center when they need to and stuff.
Yeah.
But this is also good for them in the long run because obviously the transparency of data ensures that they don't need to pay people as much money due to these new agreements that they're making. Because those people still won't be getting enough for mass viewership of and huge royalties from Netflix either. So,
well, I think that's
when it will be for Disney.
I think that's why this is advantageous. It was one of the comments that I agreed with today on my video, which is they'll be able to show the general public and the investors, this is how a show performs on Netflix. It's not feasible for us to pay you a massive, levy or whatever you're asking for, because it doesn't, you don't really actually contribute any revenue. You are literally just content. You're no longer quality material. And I think that gives Netflix a lot of leverage. I mean, for every Stranger Things out there, there's 1,000 shows that are terrible that are on Netflix. So all the streamers have the same problem. They really do. Not profitable.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, took you off on a tangent, but there you go.
No, more than worth it. Well, there you go. I mean, Nelson Peltz, I cannot wait to see what he does. This is what they do. He's already said that this is that's how they operate and function as a company. And I think the reason why they tripled their stock, more than tripled actually, is because of Bob Iger stonewalling them. And they were like, okay, that's fine. They watched it tank, the stock keep going down, and they went, so we'll get more. Yeah, we'll get more. Yeah, no, we'll keep going. We'll get more. We'll buy. Now we're going to come in because we bought at rock bottom. We can double this. We can triple this. And now you're definitely going to have to listen to us, because that's what happened. They got stonewalled by Bob Iger and the rest of the board.
Yeah.
So fascinating stuff. So it was so good to watch this come home to roost.
And they were fed. This is the thing I think that pisses Peltz off the most. And he's not, of course, he's on a business, interview. He's not going to reveal anything that's, emotionally tied to any of this. He tried to say somewhat pragmatic, but he's pissed off because Iger lied to him. So, and didn't follow through on a lot of stuff. So.
Yeah, absolutely.